Chapter 4: Global Governance and International Relations. Globalization has significantly impacted governments, international institutions, and political ideologies. While globalization enhances economic and political interdependence, it also challenges traditional governance structures. This chapter explores the effects of globalization on governments, the institutions that govern international relations, and the distinctions between internationalism and globalism. The effects of globalization on governments. Globalization has reshaped the role of governments, shifting power dynamics both within states and in the international arena. Some scholars, like Appadurai in 1996, argue that globalization has weakened the nation-state, making it less relevant in a highly interconnected world. Others, such as Rosenau in 2003, suggest that globalization has diversified power, forcing governments to adapt to new economic, political, and social realities. Mazawa in 2006 further argues that the historical evolution of international society has shaped the current challenges governments face in global governance. One major effect of globalization on governments is the loss of economic sovereignty. As global markets expand, governments face pressures from multinational corporations, international financial institutions, and trade agreements. Policies promoting free trade and deregulation, often associated with neoliberalism, limit the ability of governments to control their national economies. For example, the European Union imposes strict economic policies on its member states, reducing their ability to set independent monetary policies. Another effect is the increased influence of international norms and standards. Governments now align their policies with global expectations to gain legitimacy and maintain economic and political stability. Institutions like the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank condition financial aid on the implementation of specific economic policies, affecting national decision-making processes. As Mazawa notes, the transition from colonial empires to global governance institutions has reinforced the role of international organizations in shaping national policies. Additionally, globalization has led to greater political accountability and transparency. Governments must respond to international watchdogs, human rights organizations, and transnational advocacy networks. The United Nations and the International Criminal Court have created mechanisms to hold governments accountable for human rights violations and other global concerns. However, Mazawa highlights that the legacy of imperialism continues to influence how global governance institutions operate, often favoring more powerful nations. However, globalization also presents challenges such as rising nationalism and fragmentation. While some regions push for integration, others resist external influence, as seen in Brexit and nationalist movements in various countries. This dynamic creates tension between global cooperation and local political interests. Institutions governing international relations. Various institutions regulate international relations by fostering cooperation, resolving conflicts, and enforcing global norms. These institutions provide a framework for diplomatic engagement and global governance. The United Nations, or UN, is the most comprehensive global institution, established way back in 1945 to maintain international peace and security. It has 193 member states and operates through its main organs, including the General Assembly, the Security Council, and the International Court of Justice, also known as the ICJ. The UN plays a crucial role in humanitarian aid, peacekeeping, and international law enforcement. According to Shattle in 2012, the UN evolved from earlier European efforts to create an international society based on shared values and norms, as noted by Mazawa in 2006. The International Monetary Fund, commonly referred to as the IMF, and the World Bank focus on economic governance. The IMF provides financial assistance to countries facing economic crises, while the World Bank funds development projects. Critics argue that these institutions favor wealthier nations and impose economic conditions that often disadvantage developing countries. Shattle in 2012 points this out, and Mazawa in 2006 traces the origins of these institutions to colonial-era economic policies, highlighting their role in maintaining global economic hierarchies. The World Trade Organization, or WTO, regulates international trade, ensuring that countries follow agreed-upon trade rules. It resolves disputes and promotes free trade, though critics contend that it primarily benefits developed nations and multinational corporations, as noted by Shattle in 2012. The European Union, or EU, represents a unique form of regional integration. Here, member states surrender some sovereignty to participate in a shared political and economic system. The EU has its own parliament, currency known as the euro, and trade policies that impact both its members and global partners. This structure fosters cooperation and collective decision-making among European nations. The International Criminal Court, or ICC, prosecutes individuals for crimes against humanity, war crimes and genocide. While it enhances accountability, its jurisdiction is often challenged. Some major powers, like the United States and China, refuse to recognize its authority. This tension highlights the complexities of enforcing international law in a world of sovereign states. Internationalism versus globalism. Internationalism and globalism are often used interchangeably, but they have distinct meanings in political discourse. Internationalism is the idea that countries should cooperate to solve global issues while maintaining their sovereignty. It emphasizes diplomacy, multilateral agreements, and global institutions like the UN. Internationalism respects national borders, but seeks collective action in areas such as climate change, human rights, and economic development. According to Shattle in 2012 and Mayzauer in 2006, the concept of internationalism has deep historical roots in efforts to create a European-based international order. The globalism, on the other hand, is the belief that national borders should become less significant in favor of a fully interconnected world. It advocates for open markets, transnational governance, and the reduction of national sovereignty in favor of global decision-making bodies. Critics argue that globalism prioritizes economic efficiency over cultural and political diversity. Shattle in 2012 and Mayzauer in 2006 point out that the shift from imperial governance to global governance has influenced the way globalism is perceived today. While internationalism supports global cooperation within national frameworks, globalism promotes a world where national distinctions become less relevant. Movements like the European Union embody elements of globalism, whereas organizations like the UN represent internationalism by encouraging cooperation without erasing national sovereignty, as noted by Shattle in 2012.